Hello, Gemini, and welcome to the Cosmic Brew Tarot. I'm Oscar, and this is going to be a new moon reading. New moons are times for us to set new intentions so that we can break out of stagnant energy. And I like to feel that new moon energy to flow into a new cycle rather than allowing myself to stay stuck and letting something stagnate, right? It's kind of a way for us, over the course of 30 days to set a goal for ourselves, whether that's an actual like 3D physical goal or something that is more personal and internal. And with the new moon being in Scorpio, the energy is very much about transformation, about shadow work, about facing our demons and trying to find ways to integrate our shadow, to honor our fears and our anxieties, and to find better ways to deal with them than we currently have. So it's about being transformational, right? So I'm going to be using the Killstar deck, tarot deck, which I thought was appropriate for a new moon in Scorpio reading, right? And in the center of my reading is the Death card, which is the Scorpio power card. Death being a card of transformation, of rebirth, really, of like out with the old and with the new, right? So definitely want to incorporate that energy. And one thing that I love about the Killstar deck is on the box it says, "Death is only the beginning." And I think that that's the intention that I want to set forward with these readings. So we're going to be doing a special spread for the new moon in Scorpio. So we're going to be asking, what is the mask that I'm wearing? What shadows have I ignored and repressed? Where have I been exerting too much control? What can I do to shed these old patterns? What is my intuition telling me? And how can I do the highest good for myself and others? So along with cards from the Killstar Tarot, I will also be matching those with cards from the Spellcasting Oracle to give some additional context. And then at the very end of the reading, I'm going to be pulling from the Cosmic Journey Oracle to give some final bit of advice, because for shadow work can point out some really dark, heavy things, hidden things that might upset us and anger us. And so I like to give a springboard rather than just allow an energy like that to be, summoned forward and then just left there to hang and to, ooh, hold on. I want to light some incense. Give me a second. I set up the incense and I didn't light it. No. Of course I did. Okay. Okay. Now we can get started. Okay. So let's ask some questions. Now, while I'm shuffling, I also have some disclaimers. So one, this is a general collective reading, which means that not everything is going to be for you. And so this is a perfect time for you, dear viewer, to practice your powers of intuition and discernment, to train them to figure out what is for you and what is not, to interpret the way that you need to interpret, but also to let go of things that don't necessarily fit you, okay? Also to recognize that maybe we're talking about something in your past that you've done and dusted that you might be instead being asked to reflect on rather than go back to, right? In order to improve your next cycle. Or it might be something for you to think about for your future. Should you ever encounter something like this, you can be better prepared to answer for it. Now, for the new moon in Scorpio, the intent for us is to see what we can do to better integrate our shadow with ourselves, to be able to stare it in the face. I use the analogy of like staring a monster in the face in its lair and being like, hey buddy, it's okay, I'm here to help, and to show it love and compassion. So by the end of the movie, it's like a Pixar movie, and like the, you know, the things like jumping around, bubbly and fun, and what a great little ferocious creature you have at your side there. So let's begin. So what is the mask that Gemini is wearing? Forgiveness. Ooh, that's a hell of a mask to wear. Let's get a card. Let's get a tarot card here. To 10 of Swords. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's just start. Let's just start heavy. Gemini. Why not? Okay. Well, 10 of Swords is very much a Gemini card of sudden endings, betrayal, where all of the buildup of overthinking and of stress and of hard work, of twisting yourself into a pretzel, has led to doing and saying things that now need to be forgiven, right? Or this is you, this figure that's been stabbed in the back, right, with 10 swords and left to die, and you are trying to find, and like this is figuratively, right? So like someone did something to you and you're putting on this mask of, it's okay, I forgive you, you know, I'm a bigger person than that, I won't forget. I think maybe like it's trying to mask your hurt with a feeling of que sera sera, right? Whatever will be, and I forgive you that you felt the need to do this. I forgive myself for feeling the need to do this to someone else. But maybe you don't. Maybe you don't forgive someone that you had to put 10 swords into, because you're like, I don't know what to do with you. I can't forgive this anymore, right? But the mask that you're presenting is, no, but I forgive it. Like that's just the way that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? And but I think you're trying to will forgiveness for something really, really unforgivable, because you're trying to be a bigger person than the situation. Ooh, okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep clarifying here, because I feel like there's so many ways that this can go, and it's already a pretty heavy message. What shadows has Gemini been ignoring or repressing? Well-being. It's flipped over. And justice. All right. I feel what's interesting about this Justice card is that it's holding a sword, right? Swords being representative of truths. And they're holding the scales in the other hand. And there's a snake wrapped around their neck. I feel like something feels unfair. Actually, you know what? Now I'm not getting that. It's not unfair. This is going to get really weird. So see if you can follow me here, Gemini. Are you punishing yourself? Or are you punishing someone else in order to feel right with yourself for whatever this forgiveness 10 of Swords is about? Who are you punishing? Are you the correct arbiter of this? Are you dealing out the right punishment? Does it make you feel good? Do you feel at peace, or do you feel like things are right? Because what I'm seeing here is there's a mask of forgiveness, but the shadow is the cold, hard consequences of disturbing you. This energy feels disturbed. And I don't mean it in a bad way, like not a psychological disorder. I'm not talking about that kind of disturbance. I'm just thinking that it feels very conflicting. I think what you want so badly is to just be able to sit in peace and recover, but then the more that you sit in peace and think about it and try to heal whatever this 10 of Swords situation is that you're trying to find the forgiveness for, it's like all you can find instead is this call for doling out justice, of finding justice, of being like, no. I need to do something. I need to do something about it. For my well-being, I need to make this right. And I would venture out to go and say maybe you're trying the forgiveness route, which is why it's a mask. Because, forgiveness is a great way to heal. Let's keep going. I just don't feel like you want to forgive. I feel like you want something to come out correct and just. I think you want to feel fairness and equanimity. Equanimity, is that the word I'm thinking? Because right now I think that you're just fighting a sense of fundamental questions of fairness and truth and accountability. Getting accountability. Ooh, accountability. That word is starting to grow right now because I'm looking at this and it's like, where do you need to be accountable and where do you need to hold someone else accountable? I'm seeing already just from the oracle cards this need for peace and oneness with the flow of things, but it's just something isn't quite there, is it? Where's Gemini been exerting too much control? Career. Sorry about my dog. And the Four of Swords. Maybe you're feeling like you've been sleeping on your career, or you're recovering from a career move that had to be made, maybe an ending. Again, I'm getting that Ten of Swords. I keep looking at it and I'm just like, ugh. It's done, it's over. You've maybe even forgiven it. Because now that we have Four of Swords, right? I think you might be overthinking you might be over reflecting on what this means for you. But I don't know. Because I think you might again, I think you're sleeping on your I said sleeping on your career when I saw this, and it's like I think you're not certain what to do with your life, with your career specifically, your growth in that aspect. You're not quite sure what to do with it because you're busy recovering from some kind of hurt. I mean, let's say that this has nothing to do with your career, but let's say maybe you've gone through a difficult ending with a bad relationship, or or a family member, like a fallout, right? Let's say something completely outside of your career, but now in trying to give yourself rest, you're actually you're limiting your career from moving forward because you're keeping a lot of the energy for yourself in order to rest and recover and recuperate. And so it's not being funneled into this forward movement. I think you're trying to find the forgiveness in this situation so that you can come out of this and so you can get back on track with this, because this feels like this is slowed down, or something has come up that you're really thinking about how this is affecting you and your your well-being. Your well-being is not just a spiritual well-being, right? Finances also come into play. Purpose comes into play. If something's already just been uprooted and ended, then you might be dealing with questions of, fundamentally, what's right for me to feel good? What do I actually need versus what is just a mirage and an illusion. And I say mirage and illusion because, you know, this career tree is on a ledge. It's on a cliff ledge. And it's surrounded in this beautiful halo, right? Like, it looks great, but it could just fall down off this cliff at any moment. It's almost like, what is this all worth to me? Is this good for me? I can't, if am I self-sabotaging my career because of this past hurt? Or if this has something to do with my career, right? This 10 of Swords. How can I move forward from here? Because it doesn't feel like things have been sorted out properly. I've maybe let something go that I shouldn't have. Here we go. We're getting there, right? Because this was under the shadows that you've ignored and repressed. Maybe you've let something go that you shouldn't have. Maybe you've tried to forgive something that you shouldn't have. Or maybe by forgiving something that you need to forgive, you feel like you screwed yourself. Does that make sense? Like, you weren't being true to yourself and your well-being because you didn't get to get the fair, just outcome. Instead, you just wanted to feel at ease as soon as possible. And so this feels very like brush the problems under the rug energy, and then rest on them, and then be plagued on the fact that you're resting on a bunch of problems. You're resting on a rug that has a bunch of problems underneath it. Yeah. Exerting too much control, to me, it's like you're ignoring the problems. You're ignoring the fallouts that you're causing elsewhere by not looking at, or by trying to ignore your thoughts. This isn't feelings, this is thoughts. There's a lot of sword energy out. And of course, Gemini, air, thinking, truths. Not surprised, but still. Okay. What can I do to shed these old patterns? All right, Gemini, what can you do to shed these old patterns? Reconciliation. It's interesting. I was about to place that. I was placing it down on the next position of the spread, which is what your intuition is telling you. So I hope that when you see something like this, reconciliation, that it's speaking to you in some way, right? That your intuition is telling you, yeah, I need to reconcile something here with someone. The Nine of Wands. Yeah. The Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. It's the person that has fought for so long and hard, fought hard, and is still going. It's resilience in the face of adversity, right? The 9 wands are the barrier that's been created. Well, 8 wands, and then it's holding the 9th. I guess, with reconciliation, you know, I think you need to start recognizing why you've had to struggle so hard to forgive, where like forgiveness right now is just a mask for a deeper feeling, a deeper hurt. You know, you've been wounded and you've done so much to just move forward and keep moving, even with the wound. It hasn't been properly dressed. It hasn't been properly reconciled. This energy is telling me that it's time to speak up. You know, I think you might have forgiven in your head, right? Or you're trying to find the forgiveness. And then look over here. So like this woman here in forgiveness looks very similar to this woman here in reconciliation. It's like, so what I'm saying is the forgiveness is here in the thought process and the thinking about it. But it needs to come together with someone else in order to be met in the middle. So I don't think you've fully forgiven. But you know that you need to. And so you're putting on this mask to forgive because it's what's kind of going on in your thought process. It's like, I need to summon forgiveness. I need to summon some way of doing better. But I also need to acknowledge that I was hurt in this. I was really hurt. It was really messed up what happened. But I also know that I hurt. Maybe I hurt back. Did you hurt back? You might be asking yourself that a lot. Did you hurt back? What can you even do now? How do you even... But I think it just starts with a conversation with, I don't know who you need to reconcile with. You might need to just reconcile with yourself first. That you've been hurt so that you can shed the hurt. Because if these are old patterns that you're being asked to shed. So see, now that I just said that, I'm also getting like shedding the need to reconcile and being like, I don't want to forgive this. I don't want to forgive this. Maybe you feel like it's not fair to reconcile. It's not just that a reconciliation is needed. But I think in many ways, like, another alternative that you need to think about is, do you just need to shed the feeling of reconciliation is impossible? It's not the right time to reconcile right now. I have to stick it out longer. Is that a pattern that you need? Is that a thought pattern that's going, now's not the right time to reconcile. Now's not the right time to fix this. Is that the thing that you need to shed? I'm starting to get that feeling now. I think that's what you're being asked to shed. That reconciliation is impossible right now. I think it is possible, but you have to start by recognizing the hurt that's been inflicted on either or both people, and you need to acknowledge what you feel and what you've had to go through as well, right? That reconciliation is not easy, that this conversation that you need to have is not easy, that you've had to think about this a lot. I see so much thought, careful thought coming into this, but there's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of hurt that you're processing. And you can't sweep it under the rug anymore. Okay. Gemini, what is your intuition telling you? This one wants to come out. Psychic abilities. Okay. And the 9 of Pentagrams in reverse. I feel like your intuition is, it's very, okay. Your intuition for psychic abilities to come out in this particular position on your spread, I think you should trust it. The problem is that the intuition, what your intuition is telling you is you kind of suck. Let me be better about saying that one. You are feeling like you are not fruitful on your own. You are feeling like you are maybe have codependency issues, or you're too dependent on someone, or you are, upright. This is a card of independent, self-sustaining, abundant. It's like mini Empress energy. In reverse, we're talking the opposite. We're talking someone who's maybe made a bunch of bad investments, or that has screwed themselves, or has been screwed out of some form of security, right? And I feel like the screwing yourself has come from some old toxic pattern, some kind of self issue, some kind of belief that I'm not saying it just was born out of nowhere. I think that you have a shadow that needs to be faced, that it feels like something that was inflicted on you. In other words, something happened that caused you to put a bunch of feelings of hurt, resentment, anger, unfairness, whatever that is, into the shadow, into the back, because you're like, I need to be a bigger person than this, right? For my well-being, for my career, my well-being and spiritual and all that stuff, I need to find the way to forgive. I need to find the way to reconcile, but I just can't. There's a higher part in you that's telling you you can't forgive this. But then, like, there's a logical part that's saying you can't forgive this. I think there's even, you know what, let's call it your twins, right? You have one twin that's saying, like, I can't forgive this. It is unjust. It is unfair. It hurt. It should not be forgiven. And then there's another part here that says, but if I don't forgive this, then I'm giving this feeling too much power, and it's actually causing me to miss out on being more stable. You have 2 9s in your spread right now. I feel like you're I feel like you're close to a breakthrough, but I feel like you've just exhausted so much emotional and mental energy that it feels more on the stuck side of your culmination. And I think that you're not quite sure how to break out of it, but you know that it's not serving you. At the very least, you know that this energy is not serving you. And this is something that I'm seeing right from the beginning of the spread when we started. You're exhibiting feelings that are not serving you. You're exhibiting thoughts that are not serving you. But you also know that there needs to be something done about it. A higher self is telling you to find peace, and another side is telling you to find justice, to fight back and put people in their place. I need you to look in your intuition and tell you which one is actually draining you. Which of those two is actually draining you and keeping you here in this reverse Nine of Pentagrams energy? Why do you feel depleted? Why do you feel like you're not stable? Which of the two beliefs is causing you that problem? Which twin is the problem here? The need for justice or the need for reconciliation? Can justice be reconciliation? Can reconciliation be justice? Can reconciliation be tied up in a pretty bow? Or can reconciling just be letting something go and being like, this just is not... I'm going to go back to this Nine of Wands. If you don't feel you can reconcile something, then you need to reconcile with yourself that forgiveness is off the table. It is what it is. And if you really want to move on, you have to move on, but you can't give this hurt inside any more power. But you also can't just sweep it under the rug either. Sweeping it under the rug doesn't remove its power. It's just putting something powerful out of sight. It's like shoving it into the cave. Again, shoving it into the shadow, right? And refusing to look at it. And if you do that, you're still in that energy of fear, of anxiety that this is just going to make its way back at some point, that you're going to have to deal with it at some point because it just feels wrong. And it's still affecting you regardless. You've shoved it under the rug, but it doesn't stop you from sensing and feeling the lack. That you're not quite feeling the same energy levels that you used to. You're not this has been a very transformative, detrimental experience. It's been hurtful and it's been unfair and unjust, but then at the same time, I feel like the situation is too tricky and delicate to treat any other way than just thoughtfully and mindfully, right? And honestly. All right. How can Gemini do the highest good for themselves and for others? Finding. Oh, little butterflies here. Transformation symbol. Finding. Yeah. I go back to what I just told you here, right? I need you to answer that question. Which of the two selves, the need for justice or the need for reconciliation, is bringing you the most drain? Let's say that you choose reconciliation. Reconciliation is the one that's draining you. Then the just thing to do is to call it quits, to be like, no, this is not, or to fight. I don't know, to do whatever it is that you need to do, right? Either fight, go into the legal system and get something done, or be like, these are the just deal out some consequences, being like, I need to set down a boundary, I need to remove you from my life, I need to walk, I need to, whatever it is whatever that is. Or if you're looking at the justice side, if your need for justice is what's draining you, then you need to forgive. You need to find some kind of way of, look at this finding card. This is finding what feels right. You have to find what feels right to you. Trust your intuition at this time. Something that is definitely coming through here is to trust your intuition at this time. Even if it's hurting you and your ego, you need to be honest with yourself during this time. 5 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, 5 of Wands in reverse is a reconciliation card. Respecting differences. Could be avoiding conflicts, right? You might decide, you know what, to avoid this conflict further, I'm done with the conflict. And what does done with the conflict look like? I don't know. That's up to you. You have to find that. You have to find that within yourself in soul search here. So I really, really hope that this new moon cycle is if this is something that's really resonating with you, that this is an introspective time for you to do that. Because I really, really want yourself to be settled. I want you in this energy. And I think you want yourself in this energy. But you're very clear-minded. I just think that you're drained. You're drained, 10 of Swords, 4 of Swords, 9 of Wands, 9 of Pentagrams in reverse, 5 of Wands in reverse. There's just been so much drain. That is the energy that I'm getting. And so it's become hard to even forgive the fact that you've been drained of all this energy. But I feel like, there's ways to do that, respect what happened, to make yourself feel like you're honoring yourself in the best way possible, to make things right for yourself. I think that there's a way for you to also reach justice in that way. So I'm going to draw from the Cosmic Journey Oracle for the center of your spread to go along with death. So this is going to be your final transformative message for the new moon in Scorpio. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Interesting. So I had one card that was kind of like sliding out. So I'm going to actually give you 2 messages then. Okay. The first one is, how can this be a wonderful win? A wonderful win, win, win. Let's see. So I'm going to read the entry here in this oracle book. How can this be a wonderful win, win, win? In the situation that you're in, there's a solution that can truly help you, your community, our planet, your venture, everyone. Yet something holds you back. What were we talking about? What have we been talking about? Oh my God. Do you even really need to be persuaded and influenced to do what's better for you and the world? Perhaps there is a deep-seated belief that you don't deserve. Do you worry that any act that benefits you must be selfish and thus an evil scheme? Know that there is a path that leads to your win-win-win. Your evil scheme is one for global good. What's possible? Anything, if you can imagine it. Cosmic Catalyst. So this is a question to get your brain thinking here. What is my idea for an evil scheme for global good? I love that. It's like kind of permitting your evil side to play in a sandbox where they're creating something that's good for everyone. Because when you keep thinking like, crap, how, like, is standing up for myself. I remember saying this earlier in the reading, that standing up for yourself I didn't say felt selfish, but I can see where I was going, where it feels like, yeah, very interesting. And the cosmic checkbox, so these are like actions that you can take to help set these intentions going forward. Research at least 10 example businesses or projects already making the world a better place with their quote-unquote evil scheme. I feel like that's a great way to help set some things into perspective. Cute. Curious. All right. So I did promise a second one, and that means that this video is going to run a little longer, but you know what? I think we needed to go there. So each evolutionary turn requires you to give up who you think you are. That's a very powerful message to put next to the death card. Each evolutionary turn requires you to give up who you think you are. At this threshold you have now come to, you must give up what you thought you were so you can move into who you truly are. Each and every turn on the evolutionary spiral requires you to fully step into another level of creation to usher in what's next. A step on the spiral might sometimes feel like a step backward, but there's only perfect progress on your pathless path as you surrender. Your identity is so deeply rooted in your roles, your car, your place in society, your bank account, your profession, all of it. It's time to shed your skin. Each turn has its own perils and rewards, both easier and harder every time. Harder to give up what came before, but easier because you know what's coming. Your next leap into galactic emergence. The cosmic catalyst question: what is the deepest identity I'm scared to give up? The cosmic checkbox: map the highs and lows of the last 3 evolutionary jumps you've experienced. Ooh, Gemini. I love y'all very much, and I wish you the best on this one. I'm a Gemini myself. I'm Sun, Mercury, and Venus Gemini. So I would be lying if I said I didn't resonate with this myself. So I really, really hope that this helps. And if it resonated with you, like, share, subscribe, comment. Absolutely, please. Anything you do to help bring the channel forward. And until next time, I will see you. And yeah, thank you for being a part of this wonderful Cosmic Brew.